fitness professional with 30 years fitness industry experience, health club manager, and fitness business consultant. Now Rowie shares her time between colleges and corporate fitness business speaking. Or as she likes to call it, she travels around the world and has a chat with some folks. Rowie is on the New Zealand Chiropractic Board of Trustees. She has written 3 Be Happy books and co-authored 1 Fat book. She's also the editor of the Health and Fitness Maximum Results magazine. She has won a body shaping competition, and this year she ran her 14th marathon in July. And just to add in there as a little side point, she beat my time by an hour. Fantastic. Not too shabby for a girl that ran away from home at 15 and didn't even finish school at year 10. Rowie also grew up in a place in Australia called Campbelltown, which isn't known for producing the most multi-millionaires in Australia. But who cares? One thing you have to know about Rowie is the reason that she's here today is to speak from the heart and get the passion across to you. Because at the end of the day, if you can come out of Rowie's chat and be a little bit fitter, healthier, stronger, and be more ready to attack the health and fitness industry of the world, then that's why Rowie is here. So let's give it up for Rowie.
Who's in love right now, this minute, in love, passionately, and then as Winnow would say, in lust? So not only are you in love, but your heart races and your mouth goes dry and you get goosebumps. How does it feel? Try and explain it to me.
Very tasty.
How does it feel? Because it's different for everybody. But what kind of emotion is it? Strong or weak? The feeling when that person walks in the room, what goes on inside your body? Can't explain it. I can't explain it either. It just is, isn't it? It's just a thing inside you. I was 13 years of age. 2 very attractive people walked into my school, and at my school you couldn't listen to rock music and you couldn't dance, because if you did that you went to hell, not to heaven. And these guys walked into my school where dancing wasn't allowed, and we did what was in those days called aerobics. So we did exercise to music. And that day I fell in love. Like my heart was racing, I had goosebumps, and I couldn't explain it. I just wanted to do that for a living. And I have spent now my whole life trying to get other people to do that kind of thing for a living. I don't care what it is that you do. I don't care whether you do landscape gardening, play a musical instrument, be an electrician, be a plumber, be a chiropractor, be a fitness professional. I don't care what it is. Be a bra fitter. But whatever it is, it's got to be something that you are so passionate about that it's who you are. It's not a job. It's not somewhere where you go to work. And some people are looking at me even today in this room of passionate people going, yeah, but you've got to pay the bills and there's going to be days that you don't like. And yeah, but when you're in love with somebody, if you have a bad day, do you say, oh, well, we've had a bad day, I don't love you anymore? Do you say that? When you really love somebody, how many tough times can you go through? See, the challenge we've got today, all of us, is that when you're in business and people are coming to you for a solution, they're coming to you because they've got a challenge and they want you to provide them with a solution. Do you think they want somebody who has a job, who goes to work, who's got to pay their electricity bill to help them out? What do they want? I talk in schools on a regular basis, and in year 10s and 11s and 12s, you know, you get a great mark in school, you become a doctor or a lawyer. Not because you're passionate about helping people to be healthy, and not because you're passionate about helping criminals get off being criminals, but because you make more money. But when you go to see a doctor because you're sick, do you want the doctor who's going to look after you because they genuinely care about you and they're passionate about your illness, or because they're going to make a stack of money off you? Because you know the easiest way to say wow, get people to say wow about hanging out with you, is just care about them. But if you've got a job and you're going to work and you're doing something to pay your lousy, stinking, rotten bills, just quickly, 74% of buying decisions in Australia, I don't know about New Zealand, it might be higher in New Zealand, but in Australia, 74% of buying decisions are made by women. Do you think women have a little bit of intuition about why you're doing what you're doing? Do you think if you sit down with them, because if you sit down with somebody for the first time, a woman, and she tells you all about her challenges and how she wants to get healthy, fit, strong, feel better about herself, but you don't really want to help her, what you really want to do is pay the bills, pay the mortgage, pay your car payments and go grocery shopping with that money, do you think she might pick that a bit quickly? Because women are really intuitive like that. I reckon blokes are pretty smart too. So the first thing I'm going to ask you today is, when was the last time you said wow about what you do? Passionately in love with what you do. I made a comment at the Australian conference last week, and some of the girls in the room looked at me like with spite in their eyes. Because when I introduced Kerry at the end of the day as my husband, I said, what you have to understand about K-Man is that if he had to make a choice between me and Max, he would choose Max. And the women were like, oh my God, what a terrible man. But then I said I would do exactly the same thing. If I had to choose between what I do and my husband, I would choose what I do. First of all, I would never choose a relationship that ever asked me to choose. And this is not a psychology lesson, I'm just going to share that with you. If you're ever in a relationship where your partner says it's either me or your sport, you're in the wrong relationship. Because the great relationship will never ask you to do that. But the main reason is that who you are and what you do needs to be exactly the same thing. Because otherwise, what you do have is a job. And you always have to learn how to make sales. Now, what Dr. J taught us this morning, and I love it. I love all the moving and the pointing and the doing the stuff. It's the best stuff. But if it doesn't come from the right place, Dr. J, what is it? It's nonsense. It's just rubbish. And you don't think a woman can pick that if you do the move in the chair and the and the... A woman will pick that and she'll go, he's just smooth, or he's just, you know, slick, or he's a great salesperson, or she's good at what she does. But what do we really want people to be saying when they come in contact with you? And Dr. J said it this morning. What did he say? After somebody comes in contact with you, you want them to say, thank you. Thank you for helping me. Here's my money and thank you for taking it. Because I know that if I give you my money, I can trust that you'll give me twice as much in return. Now, most of my Max International Fitness professionals have heard this, but there's a small challenge with knowing it already. Because what's the biggest barrier to learning? How many of us have said this? I say it and I have to suck it back in, and if G catches me saying it, he tells me to suck it back in, and vice versa. If you hear yourself saying, I know that, what should you now say to yourself? Because knowing and doing are two completely different things. And it's easy to say, I know that. For the rest of this morning, from me, you're going to hear a lot of things that you know already. This is not about what you know. It's about what you're putting into action. And my biggest question for this morning is, if you want somebody to say wow when they come in contact with you, what's deep inside your soul has to be so trustworthy and so genuine and so caring that people want to give you their money because you will give them twice as much in return. So here's the analogy. We're going to go to the ATM, and it's going to be one of those old-fashioned ones where you can put money in, where you can deposit money in. So we're going to go to the ATM. We're all going to deposit $50. We're going to wait 30 minutes. And for the chiropractors, we're going to wait 3 minutes. Sorry, 5, Alex. And at the end of the 5 minutes, or at the end of the 30 minutes, we're going to get $100 back. So all we've got to do is put our money in the machine, $50, and after half an hour, we're going to get $100 back. All we've got to do is be there for 30 minutes. Would you go? Who would go and find $50 right now? Come on. If it was raining, would you still go? Really? What if it was cold? Would you still go? What if it was windy? I'm not a fan of windy. Wrecks my hair. Would you still go? What if you were lying in bed with your partner and your partner said, don't go to the ATM today, stay in bed with me? What would you say? Get your lazy ass out of bed and come with me, put your $50 in, and we'll get $100 back and we'll double our money. You'd say that, wouldn't you? So the real easy thing for all of us in any business that we're in, it's not about how much people pay, it's what we're worth. If somebody gives us $50 but they feel like they got $100 worth of value back, do you think they will ever cancel their session? Do you think they'll ever cancel their membership? I'm being harsh. To personal training session because I was shopping the club, and the gentleman, I'm sure he was untrained, otherwise this would never have happened, came out from behind the front desk, put his hand out and said, "Hi, you're obviously here to lose weight." This is not good rapport building. This is not massive rapport. But see, I'm sure that what happened is 90% of the women that he'd seen in the last 6 months said, when he said, "What are you here for?" they said, "I want to lose weight." So he just assumed, and we all know that what happens when you assume, you make an ass of you and me. And if you say that to a woman, "You're obviously here to lose weight," even if she was there to lose weight, you think she's going to say, "Yes, you're exactly right, I am here to lose weight because I'm really fat and I want you to change my life." What's she going to say? Just for a quick note for the men in the room who already understand this, watch what the women say. Ladies, if you've put on some weight, do you know? Just put your hand up. If you put on some weight, do you know? Say yes or no. Yes. Did you get that, guys? What did they say? Ladies, if you've lost some weight, do you know? Yes. Say it out louder. Yes. So when you say to your male partner, "Sweetheart, do you think I've put on any weight?" Is that really a question? This is not a question. This is, I have put on some weight, I feel crap about myself and I want you to tell me I'm beautiful, but the poor guy's in a real challenge now because if he says, "No, sweetheart, you look wonderful, you haven't put on any weight," what are you going to say? Liar! Because you already know. And if he says, "Well, yes, you are a bit fat," what's going to happen now? Get out! Sleep on the couch! See, all we're asking as women, and I can only come at you from the female angle, all we're asking as women is that you ask us a question and listen for the answer. Don't provide us with a solution. Don't say, "I'll fix it." Just listen. And that is the ultimate in all customer service. Here's another classic. I stay in a lot of hotels. I've never been asked this question. In your hotel room, Mrs. McEvoy, there's a minibar. What are your favourite foods and drinks? And we'll have them in your minibar when you arrive. What do you think the percentage of sales would be in a hotel if they asked everybody, "What kind of drinks would you like in your minibar?" What do you think might happen? Do you think they might sell some more stuff? They have to fill up the minibar anyway, don't they? So why not fill it up with the stuff that you're going to want? But in so many industries, and not just ours, we don't ask those questions. We just assume what people want. And I call it blonde business. Sorry for the other blondes in the room. I don't know what the answer is, so I'm going to ask. The Board of Trustees at the Chiropractic College are going to get really fascinated with me because they use some words I've never heard before. And I go, "What does that word mean?" And you know what I find? A lot of people at the table go, "I'm glad she asked that question because I didn't know either." All I'm asking you to do today is seriously, A, consider why you're doing what you're doing. Why are you in this industry? Why are you in this business? Genuinely care about the people that come into our industry. Genuinely care about them. But then never assume that you know what they want. Just ask. I was taught this by a beautiful young woman who was 120 kilos and 5 foot tall. I want you to picture that woman. She wasn't a bodybuilder. She was a fat woman. She came to my health club 9 times before she ever walked in the door. I'm going to take you through that process because I need you to understand it. She thought that she might want to do something with her body. So she thought, instead of calling, because that would be a really tough thing to do, and I'm going to take you through that process as well. How easy is it to call somebody you don't know at a place you've never been to ask about something you've never done, and share your inner challenges? Easy or hard? Really, really hard. That's why the way we use the phone is so important. But Gina decided she wasn't going to use the phone. She decided she was going to drive to my health club, which was about 5 kilometres down the road in Brisbane. She got into the car, got back out of the car, went back inside her house. Too hard today, maybe tomorrow. Got in the car, drove halfway down the street, got back in her driveway, went back in the house, ate a couple of packets of Tim Tams. 9 times. One time she made it to the health club car park. She said, but she watched the pretty women walk into the health club with their little clothes on. And she said, I can't do this today. And then she walked into my health club, and this is just, when I say this is by luck, nothing happens by luck. It's called good training. Imagine if she'd walked into my health club, which is, some of you might have had this experience before when you've walked into somebody's health club, and it goes like this. Yes. You know what I feel like saying when people do that? I didn't ask a question. Have you ever had that experience where you walk in somewhere and they go, yes, I didn't ask anything, so why are you giving me an answer? How about this? Can I help you? When you go retail shopping and you walk into a shop and somebody says, can I help you? What do you say? Quick, what do you say? No, thank you, I'm just looking. One of my pet hates right now, and I'm going to say this very calmly and coolly because last week I didn't. I was very aggressive. My big pet hate right now is Facebook and Twitter, because there's too many health clubs that you walk into and the person who's at the front desk, who is the number one frontline person of that business, they create the very first impression, and they're Twittering or Facebooking with their friends. I'm so angry, I've got goosebumps, but I'm keeping calm. If you own a health club, make sure the people at your front desk don't have access to that stuff. Because they're so busy playing with their friends, they forget that the person walking to the health club, this could be the 9th time they've come to your club. Now, if a woman's 120 kilos and 5 foot tall, what might you assume when she comes to your health club that she would like to achieve? What her goals might be? You should have seen me. I don't know if you saw my face down the front there when Dr. Day was talking. That is one of the worst things. If you don't know specifically what someone's number one goal is, specifically what date, what time, get out of this business, please. But we would assume that at 120 kilos and 5 foot tall, she might want to lose weight, trim down. Do you know what her number one goal was specifically? She said, Rowie, I want to be able to stand up long enough to do my ironing. I've got little children and large baskets of ironing, and I don't have the energy to stand up long enough to do my ironing. So then everyone in the health club, in the PT studio, everyone involved in your business now needs to know that Gina's number one health and fitness goal is to stand up long enough to do her ironing. Because when you're an elite athlete and you want to go to the Olympic Games, and I always use this as an example because how long is it between Olympic Games? How tough is it to keep somebody motivated for 4 years? Imagine being an Olympic coach. 4 years before the next time you get to do this. And you might say, oh yeah, but they have Commonwealth Games in between and World Championships in between. But when you're an Olympic athlete, what are you thinking about? 4 years. You're thinking about the goal for the next 4 years. How do we get somebody so motivated and so excited that they want to give you their money for long-term results? How do we do that? Well, most importantly, is that they have to look in your eyes and know that you care. That's why we've made the application process to get into Max so tough, because I don't want people in our fitness industry that are doing it for the money. I don't want people in our fitness industry that are doing it because, this is a classic, I have to wear shorts and a singlet because I've got a beautiful body and it inspires other people to look like me. Now, that wasn't a joke the way I said that. Somebody literally said that to me personally. I have to wear these little clothes that are 5 sizes too small for me because it inspires other people to look like me. When Gina was sitting in her car in the car park of the health club, do you think that the little clothes and bottom cheeks hanging out were inspiring her to come into the health club? Because what I'm asking you to do is think about today, then this is why SoooperMax is so incredibly important to me, is this group of people will always go to the gym. They're the ones that want the cheapest prices, and embarrassingly in New Zealand, and this is embarrassingly in New Zealand, we've gone 10 years backwards in prices because those people are looking for $10 a week memberships. Because they say, I need this equipment and this equipment and this equipment and this equipment, and if that gym charges 20 and that one charges 10, I'll go to the one that charges 10. Because those people will keep going to the gym because they're already going. Do we get that? They're already going. And guess what most of us are trying to do? We're trying to fight for those people. And that's why gyms have competition in prizes. Let's see how many of those people we can steal from that gym and put them over in that gym. And if you charge $10, guess what? Someone will charge $9.90. And if you charge $9.90, someone will charge $9.50. And we get into this ridiculous thing of where we have absolutely no value on our product. See this guy here? How much do you reckon he would pay to see his penis again? How much do you think it would be worth to him in just pure dollar value to be able to bend down, pick up his golf ball without going purple in the face? I usually use Abe, but today I'm going to give Abe a rest. And Hernan, can you stand up for me, please? Is this a sharp-dressed man? Do you reckon that underneath those clothes, which we can't see one muscle, can we? We can't see a bicep, we can't see a butt, we can't see a calf muscle. Do you reckon underneath those clothes is a nice body? You sure? How can you tell? How can you tell? You see, Hernan's healthy and fit, but where's the health and fitness coming from? It's his posture, it's his face. Look at his skin, it's glowing. Look at his teeth, they're white. Look at his face. Without having to have anything hanging out, what does he look like? He looks like a fit, healthy person, yeah? So that guy who earns $150,000 a year as an accountant maybe, how much do you think he would pay to have that body? If he could walk into a shop and buy it, how much do you think it would be worth to him? You can sit down now, thank you. Can you think of a dollar value? He probably spent $100,000 on his car. He'd have to get a big one. But what do you think it's worth? See, one of my greatest sadnesses for our industry is how little we are perceived as being worth. But whose fault's that? You know, gym instructors say to me, oh, but they don't pay very much money as a gym instructor. I don't want to be a gym instructor. Well, you know why gym instructors don't get paid very much money? Because they don't do very much. We've all seen it. This is our chiropractors, this is our ugly industry. Sometimes on the inside it's a little bit ugly. How many of you have been to a health club and thought to yourself, that gym instructor isn't worth the $10 an hour they're being paid? Because somebody in that gym, unfortunately, is doing a dangerous exercise, or they've walked into the gym. I'll just give you a very quick example. I had a guy once at my health club, so I'm pulling my pants down. He had one of those lovely long programs, leg extension, leg curl, leg press, shoulder press, pec deck, bench press, lat pull down, rows, shoulders, abs, those big long ones, 3 sets of 10. And when I pulled out his program card, he'd done the leg extensions. So he'd done his warm-up and the leg extensions on his program. So the question was, how are you going with your program? He said, a bit embarrassed. Yeah, good. I said, so how come you've only done this part of your program? Big DC personality, big CEO of a company, couldn't remember how to do the leg curl or which exercise it was, and wasn't going to come and ask some blonde bimbo about how to do the exercise that he'd already been shown how to do. So he just did the exercises that he knew, which was his warm-up and his leg extension. He'd been coming consistently doing those 2 exercises, but the rest of the ones he couldn't remember how to do them. See, that's not worth very much money, is it? And he kept coming. How many thousands and thousands of people do you think have been into our industry? Our industry, take responsibility for it, and been given a silly exercise program and something they couldn't ever possibly do because it was too long, and they've never come back. I'm going to give you the worst case scenario, and I'm usually really positive. I'm going to give you the worst case scenario. I believe I've killed people. Because I believe there's people who came to me looking like that. I gave them a program that they could never do, because in the 80s we used to attract people like that to the gym. I gave him a program that he could never do because it was too long, too boring, too complicated, too intimidating, and he felt really uncomfortable because when Hernan's got his singlet and his shorts on, that guy doesn't feel very comfortable around Hernan. And he never completed his program, never kept going with his program. And how long do you think that guy's going to last for? That's a time bomb. That's way more than 100 centimetres. So what I'm asking you as an industry today is those people will keep coming to the gym. What I'm asking you is, what about these folks? What about our overweight women? What about our depressed kids? What about our kids that don't get picked with sport because they're not coordinated? What about our people who have got poor posture? What about our people who will never ever go to the gym? Don't we have a responsibility as international fitness professionals to make sure that everybody gets healthy, fit and strong, not just the people that want to pay $10 a week and dress like that? Do you know what the real upside of that is? Is that even in the small population of 4 million people in New Zealand, and let's say New Zealand's doing it way better than Australia, and we've got 10% participation rate, which I'm sure Angela and Paul would probably say is not quite as high as that. But let's say 10% of the population in New Zealand goes to the gym. Does that mean that they're using their gym membership? I don't go to bars very often, but I was at a bar one night and a guy had a key ring on his... I'm sitting on the bar with his keys, and it was a major health club chain. And I said, "Oh, do you train there?" And he goes, "No, but I'm a member because it's only $10 a week or $15 a week, and it's good for picking up chicks." But see, he would be on the statistics, wouldn't he, for being a member at a health club? Let's take out the 10% that are going to health clubs, and let's say that they're using the gym membership, and let's go in just New Zealand alone, which leaves how many people, Steve, left over that aren't going to the gym? 3.6 million. Now, how many of you in this room have heard that you can't be successful in the fitness industry because there's too many personal trainers and there's too many gyms and it's not a very successful industry? How many of you have heard that already? Many, many times over. There's over 3.5 million people that need our help. And $10 a week isn't going to attract them, because when they go into a gym and see this, that's the lineup of 30 of those or 50 of those. See, we get excited, don't we? We've got 50 treadmills. And we've got life equipment. And we've got, what's the other one? What's our leg press? The one that pushes over the... Hammer strength, that's the one. We've got hammer strength equipment in our gym. Have you ever been to a computer expert who says, this computer's got 75 megabytes, kilobytes, bloody shitty bytes, and I don't know what they're talking about? Can you write this down, please, for me, just to take away? It's the only thing you take away from me today. Don't use inside lingo on the outside world. Please don't use our inside language on the outside world. Chiropractors don't do that. People don't get it. Use, as I've been taught by the media in the last week, around about the age of 7 is the wording and the length of the words that the newspaper uses. Not because they don't think that we are smarter than 7-year-olds, but because our language development for general language is that all of us are around about 7. After 7, we start specialising in different areas. If we call it a lat pull down, a leg press, a pec deck, a leg extension, do you know what we sound like to most people? Megabyte, kilobyte, shitty byte, blah, 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 different language. No one knows what we're talking about. How many of you have been to a party? This has happened to me so many times. You go to a party and someone says, "Oh, you're in the fitness industry." And I say, "How can you tell?" "Oh, because you're just shiny." Isn't that nice? And they say, "I'm going to the gym." And I go, "Really? What are you doing?" And they go, "Oh, well, I'm doing this one and this one and this one." And I say, "How long have you been going to the gym for?" 12 months. What are they still calling it? This one. Why do we use that language? What? Because it makes us feel important? Could we get over that? And just say, this is a great exercise to give you tight... See, this is a classic. Because I used to say to women, "God, do strength training, but don't worry, you won't get big muscles when you do strength training." And I used to walk around with my calf muscles, and if you've seen them, I've got big calf muscles. Thanks to my mum and dad, not because of strength training. But what if you said to women, "You've got to do strength training to make you tight-toned and yummy"? Tight-toned and yummy. Not when you do this exercise, you'll be using your latissimus dorsi and your biceps and your triceps and your abdominals. Or even better, your rectus abdominis. See, we just sound silly. And even to the people that know, if you use the simple words and they know the big words, they'll use the big words, and then how will they feel? Then they get to feel important. Why do you think I was down the front here going ting, 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 ting? Because every time I go to a health club, and I visit lots of health clubs because I travel all over the world, and I go to all the health clubs, as much as I feel uncomfortable going to a health club, I always go in to check out my industry. And that's what I get. Ting, 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 ting. Or I'm lucky if I get this. Can I help you? I'm busy with my Facebook. Surely we're more mature than that. So what I'm going to ask you today as international fitness professionals in whatever business you're in is, what is the service that you offer? See, it could be, as the growing chains are now, that you buy a swipe card and you go in and there's a big pile of equipment in there and there's no service. But at least you're not promising anything then. The biggest challenge I believe that we're not worth very much money is we've made all these big promises in our business and we've let people down. And the quickest way to go out of business is to overpromise and underdeliver. Yes or no? And when I put it beautifully, what do all health clubs and personal training studios say? We give great service. Well, what I'm asking you is, what is it? I'll give you a couple of examples. Last week in Australia we had Andrew from Vision Personal Training, 42 personal training studios. There might be a few more than that now. One of the things they don't do anymore is they used to do the pre-session call, telephone call. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. But see, they were promising that. And with 42 personal training studios and 250 trainers or however many, could Andrew be sure that before every single personal training session, every single client was going to get called? The answer is no, because some stupid person was going to be lazy or couldn't be bothered or was having a bad day or was busy Facebooking, so they didn't call. So they took it out, which means it's never getting promised. I'm not going to tell you what great service is. What I'm going to ask you to do is ask your clientele. When I said it beautifully, who are your customers? Who's your perfect customer? How many of you who have been training people for quite a while and you don't... I got in trouble the other day because you don't treat people in the chiropractic business. There's no treatment. What's it called? We care for people. How many people of your clients... How many of them do you know exactly what it is that they want? Their exact goals. And then the other one, what annoys them, what made them angry, why they stopped doing whatever it is that you did in the past. And how good would it be to be able to say to the people that, because 80% of your business comes from 20% of, and we all know this, but just write it down anyway, 80% of your business comes from 20% of your clients, the ones that absolutely love you. So do you need to ask the 80% what they like? Because how much business do the 80% give you? 20. Just say it. How much do they give you? 20. Not very much is a good answer. If you're not good at maths, I just say not very much. So don't care what they think. Who have you got to care about? 20%. The 20% who give you 80% of your business. And they're the ones you've got to really ask them, what is it that you really want? What's going to make you say, wow? And I'm very expensive, if you invest $50 in me, if you invest $100 in me, what do I have to do to make sure that you get $200 worth of value? What do I have to do that? And now you'll be providing the right service for the right person. And there's no right answer to that. It's just ask the question, because business is not that complicated. See that thing? That plastic inanimate object there? Can you see that in your ear? Do you know what that is? What is it? Phone. That is a weapon of mass destruction. What should it be? WMD should be a weapon of mass desire. Because if somebody gives great phone, what do you want to do now? I want to see you in person. Because if the phone's good, then how good must it be in person? But how many times have you called a business and you just wanted to hang up? Even just by the first hello, did you want to hang up? Don't treat this thing lightly. This is so important. But see, if you don't care about what you do, if what you do and who you are aren't exactly the same thing, the way you answer the phone will be, this is my job, I'm at work and I'm bored, or I'm busy, or I'm having a fight with somebody, or I don't like this, I wish it was Friday and it's only Monday. Now, they don't have to answer the phone like that, because normally people don't answer the phone like that, do they? Oh, I hate Mondays and I wish it was Friday. Most people don't answer the phone like that, do they? But you can hear it in their voice, can't you? Most people don't say, piss off, I'm busy. But what do we hear a lot of the time when we call? Exactly that. Now, I have to swear this time. This is not my swear. This is somebody else's swear. But this is the worst one I've ever received. I was looking for somebody to wash my puppy dogs. It did happen in Australia. I'm sure it would never happen in New Zealand. I've called a telephone number to get my puppy dogs washed. And here's what the answer was. Oh, I called the number. What are you fucking calling me back for? She must have just had a fight with her boyfriend and was using her personal or her business phone for her boyfriend's fight. Now, was that a weapon now of mass destruction? Did I want to now take my puppy dogs to her and say, here's my 4 children who I love dearly, can you please look after them? Now, that's the worst case scenario, but I have to share with you, how many times have you called a business and that's how you felt? It was like, they just want me to go away. This would be a great business if it wasn't for all these terrible people calling us all day long. I do something really simple. Now, you don't have to do it in yours, but to me, it just changes the whole mindset. When the phone rings, it is the most important thing in your business. You stand up, you stick a smile on your dial, you jump up and down a couple of times before you answer the phone. And you've all got to do that between 2 to 3 rings, because after 3 rings, people think you're not there. But whatever mindset you're in, don't answer the phone until you change your mindset to super positive, whatever's going on. Then you'll find the way you answer the phone has to be so unique and different that when people get off the phone, they're still talking about you. Now, just for practice, those of you who own a business and you want to take this seriously, because this is the first online way that people get into your business. You might think it's your website, but when's the first person contact? It's on the phone. Usually it's on the phone. What I want you to do this week, just this week, call 10 businesses. It don't have to be in our business. Just call 10 businesses. The first question I want you to ask yourself when you call that business is, did you even know the name of the business? By the way they answered the phone, did you even know that you'd called the right place? Because often the way they answer the phone is so poor, they have to say, did I call the fish and chip shop? And they say, no, it's a plumber. Oh. Be really clear on who you are and the way you answer the phone. Now, unique and different. I know that a lot of people in this room think the way that we answer the phone is very, very unique and different. Thank you so much for calling the Max International College for Fitness Professionals. Today's Happy Be Fit Day. My name's Rowie. Can I ask for your name, please? Now, I'm going to give you the 4 reasons why we do that. Number 1, it's very unique and different, particularly in New Zealand. People said to me, Rowie, it's never going to work in New Zealand. Second reason is, if you answer the phone a different way every day, you have to think carefully about the way you answer the phone. Because most people, when they answer the phone, they've answered it 75,000 times exactly the same way. So what does it sound like? 75,000 times I've had to do this. Blech. Third reason, if they don't like the way you answer the phone, which should be exactly the way that you do business. See, we at Max, we're very unique the way we do things. So it starts on the phone. If you don't like the way we answer the phone, it's very unlikely that you're going to like to write wow with your bottom in class. See, the way we answer the phone is the same as what we do in our business, which is the same as the way you answer the phone needs to be the same as you. And the fourth reason is you want to leave a profit, even if it's just the electricity person calling. I can't tell you how many times since I've been in New Zealand where a telco's called or a telemarketer's called or you need to pay your bill person, and they've hung up the phone, before they've hung up the phone, said, thank you so much, it was awesome to talk to a positive person today. See, most people do business, what we do is we think about the person in front of us, how much money can I get out of them now? How many of you have been doing business for a long time where 5 years later somebody said, finally, I've made up my mind to come to you? That happens to us all the time. It's taken me 5 years to get here. Or my auntie's next door neighbour's best friend's church buddy remembered the way you answered the phone, and when I asked them where I should do personal training, they said I should come to you because of the way you answered the phone. See, that's unique, different and memorable. So what is this not to be? A WMD, not a weapon of mass destruction. It needs to be a weapon of mass desire. Turn to the person next to you and say, I do great phone. No, say it with passion. I do great phone. First initial contact. I'm not here to say this is how you should run your business. That's not what I'm here for today. What I do know is that this word is very different to that should be indifferent. The number one reason, this has been studied all over the world, peer-reviewed, studied even. The number one reason that people will stay in your business or leave your business is because of the indifference of one team player. Now, what's the definition of indifference? Don't care is a classic. See, I used to think that the opposite to love was hate. I used to think that, well, if I don't love you, I hate you. But love is a very powerful emotion, yes or no? Is hate a powerful emotion? So if you catch your partner in bed with your best friend, who you used to love your best friend and you used to love your partner, how will you feel when you see that happen? Will you love them still? Just say no. How will you feel? Very angry. Hate would be very close, yes? But 6 years later, when you see them walking down the street with their 6 children and you're happily married to somebody else, what's now happened? You are now indifferent. It doesn't matter anymore. You don't care that your partner left you for your best friend. It doesn't matter anymore. Well, that's the number one reason why people will leave your business, because of the indifference of, and it could be the cleaning person. It could be it doesn't matter, just answer the phone. It could be the person that answers the phone. I use this word a bit lately, what I'm begging you is if you're serious about your business, people have to feel so welcome there that they want to keep talking to you. They don't want to get off the phone. Sometimes Super Sue says to me, I was on the phone today for like 45 minutes to the same person. I go, yes. Because we built massive rapport. Indifferent means I don't care. And all I'm going to ask you to do now, if you don't know what's going on in your business, ask. And ask what makes people feel that way. What makes them feel like you're indifferent to them. Because what you think and what they think might be two different things. It was so funny, Cam and I were on the Gold Coast this week, and we came in from a big day, and we were staying at a hotel, and there was 3 people lined up at the front there, and I went, hello everyone, how are you? And there was nothing. Like, no one even lifted their head. It was like, and I just laughed and he laughed, because what could you do? It was just funny. But I'm a pretty tough girl now, I've been around for a while. What if that was my first time in that hotel and I was practicing my communication skills and hoping that people would respond to me? They didn't even lift up their head. It wasn't even not even nothing. It certainly wasn't a wiggle in the chair. Now, I have no desire to go back there because this wasn't happening. It was just indifferent. It's that word under there. It's what most salespeople are. Caring or pushy. See, if you just took all of Dr. J's words this morning and put them into words and put them into words without any meaning behind them, what would you sound like? What do people hate about salespeople? They're really pushy. But see, if you really care, and that's why I just put it under there, I don't want you to really see it, because if you really care, will you ever sound pushy? Careful when you answer that question. I think you have to be. In our industry, you have to be, because people don't want to get started. People don't want to do an exercise program. What you have to be is a caring, unreasonable friend. Not a friend, because, when you've got a friend and you put on some jeans that make you look really fat and you say to your friend, do these jeans make me look fat? And she says, no, they look great. Is that a good friend? What does an unreasonable friend say? Sweetheart, don't wear those jeans, they make you look fat. That's a really good friend. Somebody comes to your business and you give them, or they give you 10 reasons why they shouldn't get started, and you say, yeah, you're right, you should go home and think about it. It could be 6 months before they ever get started again. If you say to a woman, so we're going to get started today. Now, what do we need to say?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course. We're going to get started today. And she says, oh, I have to ask my husband. Do you know why I know that's not true? Because how many women every day, right now, this minute particularly because it's super day, are out shopping and they've bought a pair of shoes or a dress or a handbag and their husband's never going to know about it? Yes or no? And one day he might see it and go, have you had that for very long, sweetheart? And you'll go, I got it on sale. See, we make decisions all by ourselves, women. When we say, no, I've got to ask my husband, what does that really mean? You have to give me the right answer for this. You haven't given me enough reason to get started. You haven't created enough pain in my life that the pain of staying the same has to be less than the pain of making a change. That's the difference. And if you let them walk away, you're being irresponsible. Please get that. Nobody calls you for fun. Can you imagine that? I'm just calling chiropractors today, just thought I'd call a few folks. See how it... No. I thought I might call a few personal trainers and see if... No. And particularly men, because when do men only make a change? Come on, guys. Men don't think about it. They will only call you when. I'm sick of being fat and I'm going to change now. Women might be a little bit more, but men it's now, I'm going now. So please, 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 when you're sitting down with this person, create massive amounts of pain to force the person to change. And if they don't like you, it doesn't matter. Because you know when they will like you? In 6 weeks' time, in 3 months' time, in 6 months' time, when they're looking and feeling fantastic. And they're going to say to you, thank you so much for caring enough about me to get me started. And if you ask all the right questions, we all know what they are. What is really important to you? Tell me why. Be specific. Where would you like that to happen? When would you like that to happen? How will you feel if you do? How will you feel if you don't? They're not pushy questions. They're just... And what was the first thing we did at the beginning? Is ask questions and listen. Ask questions and listen. And then ask 3 more questions about each answer. And at the end of that process, the person has already said to you that their number one goal is to walk into the Christmas party at 7:30 on the 24th of December looking $1 million because they're sick of being fat, and you let them walk out the door without getting started. It wasn't their challenge, it was you let them walk out the door. Don't let them do that, please. Because there are so many thousands of people where they've gone to a health club and they've got that experience, gone to a personal trainer, got that experience, they didn't get started and they're still overweight and they're still feeling crap about themselves. Because someone didn't bother to take the time to care, ask questions and listen to the answer. Sally's here today and I used her as an example last week in Australia. See, the 10% group who are already going to the gym and there's 57 cycles, what do they say? Look at this gym, there's 57 cycles. Look at this gym, they've got 400 pieces of cardio equipment. Look at this gym, it's got floor space for thousands of people. And then they want it for $10 a week. And they want the lights to be on and they want 24 hours 7 service and they want a big happy smiley face and then they want it for $10 a week. So we think we've got to buy more equipment because then the club will be more valuable. We've got to buy more equipment because the studio will be more valuable. Poor old Sally, she ordered $4,000 worth of equipment and trained people in a studio for over a month without the equipment. I reckon there was not one of Sally's clients that said, when's the equipment coming? When's the equipment coming? When's the equipment coming? Because who do people want to train with? The bikes? Who do they want to train with? Oh, I know, I get it. The people that are already going to the gym will get excited about the equipment. But they're already going. What about the 95% that aren't going? They get really excited if you've got a tiny little space that's private. There's a health club in Orange in New South Wales. Now, you won't forget that because the town of Orange has a hotel there called the Apple International. How do you explain that? I don't get that. Really good friend of mine, Paul, owns a health club in Orange. When you walk into the health club, there's 2 personal training studios. One for the CS personalities, the quiet, shy introverts. It's a quiet room, blue paint, wooden floorboards, dolphin music. And And there's another PT studio with loud music and mirrors and bright coloured paint. So if you understand people and you've got a quiet, shy, introverted S-style personality who comes to your health club for the first time, where are you going to take them? You might wander them through the busy spot, but where will you end up? In the quiet, non-intimidating place. If that is your target market and you're a personal trainer and you've got a studio, don't go with the intimidating stuff, because people don't, and I shared this last week and most of you know this already, you can use one dumbbell and get a great workout. You can do rows, you can do single arm dumbbell presses, you can do squats and lunges with one dumbbell. You know, most of the general public will be so much more excited about a short exercise program with one dumbbell than they will with the big long line of, we've got $12 million worth of equipment and I want to pay $10 a week for it. Men have 27 sexual fantasies every hour. Maybe it's 29 on average. That means some have a lot more. So those of you that are having a sexual fantasy right now, please have it, and we'll get back to you in a couple of seconds. Is that inspiring? For the 10% of people who might already be going to the health club, that might be very inspiring. But to the average folk in the street, do you know one of the reasons why people don't come to our industry? Because they think they've got to wear that. How many times have you heard this? I've got to get fit and lose weight before I go to the gym. Have you ever heard that before? Before I go. I learnt this really, really quickly. I went to a fitness conference in America called ID. And there was a young lady who came in and she was a big woman. She came in to teach in a big room. And she was a big woman. And she had big baggy shorts on and a big baggy t-shirt. She said, if you want to attract people like me into your health club who really need to lose some weight, get out of these little clothes because we find them really intimidating. So I took that on board straight away. One of the things that I don't suffer from in business is called TFI, total failure to implement. Now, I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea until it's implemented. How stupid can you be if you get an idea and you say that won't work? I always say, really? Have you done it? No. Well, how do you know it won't work? So I went, okay, I want to attract more overweight people into my health clubs. I want to overweight people, particularly overweight women, lose weight. So I went back to my health club and I said to all the aerobic instructors, we're not wearing these clothes anymore. And if you ask K-Man, that was the original reason why K-Man and I got together, because I used to wear shorts shorter than that. I used to like my ass cheeks hanging out my shorts. So I went back to my health club and said, we're not going to wear clothes like this anymore. We're going to wear knee length. My max students will get this. Knee length, black shorts, baggy ones. And we're going to wear T-shirts that cover our biceps and triceps. One girl put her hands on her hips and she said, I've worked hard for this body, you can't make me cover it up. This was many, many years ago, and I said, because you can't do this anymore, but I said, you're fired. Go away. Can't do that anymore. I had to counsel her 3 times now if that was the case. But here's what happened, and please take note, this is really interesting. I used to have a lot of aerobic instructors who'd call me 5-10 minutes before a class and say, I can't come teach class today. How annoying is that? Watch Angela's face, please. Health club owner. How annoying is that? Because who has to teach the class? Because it's your business, you're going to teach the class. So I was the aerobic coordinator and manager of the club, so if the aerobic instructor called up, I would teach the class. What happened after we implemented the shorts and the t-shirts was this. There was this massive decrease in the number of aerobic instructors that would ring up 5-10 minutes before the class and say, I can't come in. So at a team meeting, I said to them, can someone please explain to me why this is the case? We used to have this massive amount of cancellations, and I would teach a class, and now that doesn't seem to be happening anymore. You know what the girls said to me? Because predominantly girls then. Rowie, do you understand when you're having a fat day how hard it is to stand up in front of a class of 40, 50, 60 people with all your bits hanging out? I'm going to ask the girls in the room, how hard is it to wear a little outfit like that if you're having a fat day? I'll ask the guys in the room, if you're having a fat day, how do you feel wearing an outfit like that? Just say fat and fatter. But see, when the girls were wearing baggy shorts and baggy t-shirts, now they were covered up, so they weren't having a fat day anymore, so they were less likely to cancel their class. But here's what else happened. Guess what the people in the class started wearing? Because whose trend do they follow? Hanan is a Les Mills master trainer. Guess what? If he sets the fashion trend, guess what everybody's going to be wearing? What the superstar wears. The 10% of people will always go to the gym and they'll wear little clothes. What I'm asking you to do, and that's why I get so excited when I look around the room today, when you dress as a professional, how are you perceived? I train with Abe. He wears a long sleeve shirt. Not even a polo shirt. He wears a long sleeve shirt, corporate pants and shiny shoes. See, that's how professionals dress. And I know you've all heard this before, but it's just a reminder. I've got a group of franchise owners that I've been asked to chat to in the next oncoming weeks. And their real challenge is, well, the trainers can't exercise when they've got clothes on like that. Good! They're not supposed to be exercising in the personal training session, because whose personal training session is it? The clients. You're there for supervising and coaching, encouraging, inspiring, not who can do the most push-ups. And I won't get you to do it today. No, I will. Everybody up. Down on the floor for push-ups. What I'd like you to do is do as many push-ups as you can and inspire the person next to you to keep doing push-ups. Go! Come on! And for the chiropractors, can you please check out the posture of everybody while they're doing their push-ups? So I want you to do as many as you can, but also inspire the person next to you to do as many as they can. Come on, come on.
Keep going, keep going.
Keep yours going and get them to keep going. Come on. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I want you to be super motivated, and I want you to motivate the person next to you. Keep going. All right, enough. I'm not technically understanding the game of rugby union very well. But what I do know is that Australia has a New Zealand coach. And what I've never seen is the New Zealand coach get on the field and start playing rugby for the team. I've never seen that happen. Probably for the Australian team it might be good if he did that every so often. But I've never seen that. Because as the coach, if he was playing in the team, what would happen? Would he be an effective coach? What's the coach there to do?
Coach.
Not exercise with the team. The reason I use that analogy is it's not your session, it's the client's session. Dress like a professional. And I know I've used this example before, but I'm going to use it again just to remind you. Please be honest. Don't kid yourself on this. Please be honest. God forbid you drive home tonight and you have some kind of a car accident and somebody in your car is injured in some way. It's on the motorway. Two people pull up to help you. One is in a Chrysler Galant, rusty with bald tyres, and they're wearing tracksuit pants, a hoodie and Ugg boots with holes in. And the other one is driving a black BMW and they're wearing a suit. Both of them get out of the car and share with you, I'm a medical doctor, how can I help? Which one do you want? Come on, be honest. No, I want the Beamer. Now that doesn't mean he's a better doctor, does it? But everyone in this room today, you made straight away, you made a judgment of every person you've met today in 0 to 30 seconds. And Winnow, I'm going to share this with you because it was really funny. Andrew Simmons from Vision last week in Australia, he'd never met Winnow before. And he saw Winnow for the first time, and he only told me this at the end of the day. He came up to me and he said, I saw Winnow for the first time. And he said, I knew he was going to be good because you told me he was going to be good. But when I looked at him, I wasn't sure. Because first impressions are everything. See, Winnow doesn't have a ripped abdominals. How many of you were really surprised when he told you that he'd run an under 3-hour marathon? Who would love not you, Sterling, but who would love to be able to run under a 3-hour marathon? Wow. And it wasn't that long ago that he did it. See, we all prejudged, didn't we? We all thought that guy's never done any exercise in his life. He exercises every single day. At Tally Ho Club, he inspires people to exercise. The reason I asked him to talk about Tally Ho Club is wouldn't it be great if in every gym in high school around our countries, there was a group of men every Super Day morning, and I've been there's been 100 blokes from 18 to 90 exercising, and they've got daggy old shorts on and ripped T-shirts, and they're just hanging out with the blokes. Isn't that exciting? Now, they probably wouldn't mind someone like that rocking up. I'll spend very little time on this because I know that you get this already. But if you are still writing programs like this for your clients, the first thing I need you to do is go do some research on exercise. So the second thing I need you to do is ask yourself, how long would that program take? Des, you'll know. If somebody comes into your health club, your personal training studio for the very first time and you hand that over to them, first of all, what language is that? Might be Arabic for most people. Could be Japanese. Could be Kosokovian, I don't know. For the average person, for most of us, it's a language we don't understand. So what is that? Owner, director of the largest chain of female clubs in Australia. Her instructors were writing programs like this. She got hold of a program card, she gave it to one of her instructors and she'd go on the gym floor and do that. Just you physically, personally, go and do that and tell me how long it takes. An hour and a half later, for a lady that's got a business and 3 children. Is that how long is that lady going to stick to that program for? And here's why she needs to. You ready? I know that you know the statistics, but we'll just let the chiropractors know. 1 in 3 women get osteoporosis. How many?
1 in 3.
1 in 3 women. When I started in this industry, 1 in 3 women over the age of 60 got osteoporosis. That's a debilitating disease where your bones get so thin that they break inside your body. Okay? That's a bad disease. 1 in 3 over the age of 60. Guess what it is now? It's still 1 in 3, but guess what the age is? Over the age of 45. Now, I've been in this industry for 30 years because when those 2 people walked in the room that day in my school, I was 13 years of age. I'm now 43. So for 30 years, what good have I done for osteoporosis? And you know what? Do you know how many of those I wrote? Because typing that was really easy. Do you know why? Because I reckon I wrote those for about 15 years in that exact order. That was kind of my standard program for people. And I wondered why people didn't stick to it. How many women do you think have got osteoporosis now? Because the only way for women not to get osteoporosis is to lift heavy weights. I'm going to say that again. The only way for women not to get osteoporosis is to lift heavy weights. Walking won't do it, swimming won't do it, group exercise won't do it. What do women have to do so they don't get osteoporosis? They have to lift heavy weights. When women have got osteoporosis, so they're over the age of 45, guess what's the only way that we can reverse osteoporosis? What do they have to do? Lift heavy weights. Do you know what? When you've got that many exercises, you don't even lift heavy because there's too many exercises. You pace yourself and you think, oh, I've got to do another exercise, another. So you pace yourself. Here's a great question. Write it down. Please write it down. Please write it down. It's not how much do we have to give people, it's how little can we give them. How little can we give people, women, men, children, to get a great result? How little? What is the shortest period of time? Paul and I have had this discussion many times now. If you go into a health club, most health clubs around the world, how long does the group exercise class go for? A short one's 45 minutes. It'll be called an express class if it's 45 minutes because they're normally an hour long. To the general public, how long is an hour to exercise? For most of us in this room, how long is a marathon to run? For most of us, bar Sterling and Winnow, it's impossible. 42.2 kilometres is impossible. Do you know for the general public what an hour of exercise is? Impossible. Now, can you guys stand up? I know you've done this before, but just because we're going to get the 2 of you. How much do you weigh now, Des?
93.
Big buff boy that you are. And how much do you weigh?
98.
Can you, either one of you, pop on each other's shoulders? I don't care which way. You right? We good? Just hold it. Don't move. Just hold. You right? It must be next door. Stay there. Now what I'd like you to do is an hour of group exercise.
Running squat.
You can put him down now. Thank you. First of all, it's uncomfortable for the person, but how uncomfortable is it for the fat bit on your body? See, are there people who weigh 200 kilos, 190 kilos that need to do some exercise? But are they going to come to our facilities when we say you're going to do that for an hour? The other day we were moving to Gold Coast College and I had 2 25 kilogram weights in each hand. So I'm an extra 50 kilos. I couldn't hardly move. And I had to carry these things down some stairs and across the car park. Imagine somebody that's carrying an extra 50 kilos of weight. And we say, what I want you to do is an exercise program that takes an hour and a half and then go and do a group exercise class that takes an hour. Stop it, please. Wouldn't it be great to have group exercise classes that went for like 15 minutes? Wouldn't that be a little bit more exciting for the general public? What about a strength training program that you could do? Could you do, this is a classic, what about the DD workout? Dips and deadlifts. For the techos in the room, if I did dips and deadlifts, which muscle groups would I not be using? Heavy dips and deadlifts, which muscle groups wouldn't I be using? The techos are going, there must be one. Look, if you do good dips and deadlifts, you're using your cheek muscles, using your tongue muscles and your toe muscles, and you're squeezing your ass cheeks together to lift yourself up. You're using every single muscle in your body. Isn't that exciting? And how many exercises? Do you think we might be more attractive to the general public if we had 15-minute classes and 2 strength training exercises? Do you think we might get some more women out of osteoporosis or not going into osteoporosis if we could just give them a couple of great exercises? Cancellations. Whether you're a personal trainer or you're a gym owner, you're a studio owner or you're a mobile trainer, one of the big challenges that come across my desk every single day is, Rowie, I get cancellations. People want to cancel their membership. People want to cancel their personal training. They don't want to come this week. I'm asking you to take responsibility. If you put $50 into the ATM and you get $100 back in half an hour, if it's raining, would you still go? If you were tired, would you still go? If you were busy, would you still find the time to go? So if somebody's not going to their PT session, somebody wants to cancel their gym membership, why is that? Here's what I don't get. Why would you cancel a $10 a week membership? Because if you get $10 and you rip it up, you've just wasted $10. It has given you no value. If you're prepared to cancel a $10 a week membership, it's because you're getting no value from it. If you're prepared to cancel your PT sessions because you're not getting any value from it, whose responsibility is that? Whose responsibility is that? And you don't have to take it, because I will. After 30 years in the fitness industry, women over the age of 45 are now getting osteoporosis. When we have in our hands the answer and cure and prevention to osteoporosis. People are dying of heart attacks every single day. Type 2 diabetes in South Auckland is the highest per capita in the world. Whatever you guys decide to do in this room today is completely up to you, but here's my mission: to positively change the health and fitness of the world. And we're not going to do that by intimidating exercise programs and intimidating health clubs and cheap memberships. When a woman goes to have breast enhancement, is she looking for the cheapest plastic surgeon? Just say no. Excuse me, I want some cheap boobies. What's she looking for? The best ones. When it's really important to you, you're never looking for the cheapest. I don't have any children, but I imagine if I had children, I wouldn't be looking for the cheapest childcare. I've got 4 puppy dogs and I'm never looking for the cheapest person to look after my puppy dogs. I want the person who loves my dogs as much as I do. When somebody comes to train with you, they want somebody as involved in their results, specific results, as they are. This is a really simple system for our customer service. You may or may not use it. But if you have a PT studio or a health club, I'm asking you to at least consider it. When somebody joins your health club, they will have a specific goal. When they come to your studio, they'll have a specific goal and a date and a time frame, and please make it exact. Every single time they then come into that facility, what should the focus be? From everybody. Not just the personal trainer, not just the gym instructor, not just the club owner. Les Mills, Norm Phillips, classic. You have to go and watch this guy in action. I'll sit in his coffee shop at Les Mills in the city. He knows the names of the people that come into his health club. There's like 12,000 members. And everyone that walks into the club, he says, hello, hello. But he doesn't just say hello. He says, hello, and how's Johnny, your son? Hello, how's Eric, your husband? Hello, how are your puppy dogs? 12,000 members. So don't you tell me that with 50 clients you can't remember all of those details. But he also stood up at our last graduation after 28 years in the fitness industry, and he said to the graduates, and you were there, he said, you might be passionate now, but come and talk to me in 28 years' time and let's see how passionate you still are. Because when it's not who you are, it's really easy to get bored. When it's not who you are, it's really easy to give average service on one day. When it's not who you are, it's easy to answer the phone in a boring way. When it's not who you are, it's really easy to pick somebody else's program and hand it out. Some of you have heard this story before. One of my clients was a rock climber and she had torn extensors in her wrist. So she couldn't do chin-ups or lat pull-downs this way on one hand. So I got her to do reverse grip, supine grip on one and pronated on the other. And guess what happened? By the end of the week, all the trainers in my health club were doing this grip for chin-ups for their clients and their chin-ups and lat pull-downs and rows. They're all doing this. So I put everyone in for a team meeting. I said, can someone please share with me why we're doing this with our clients? And guess what the answer was? Because you are. It's like, nah. Johnny calls them sheeple. Please don't be a sheeple. Please don't follow what the rest of the industry is doing just because the rest of the industry is doing it. Please be prepared to stand out from the crowd and make people say wow because you know what makes them say wow. Thank you for having me.